Hello everyone, this is day 3. We are learning circles. So go ahead and write these notes down. I'm going to be sitting on the desk for the majority of this because my head gets cut off. Okay, so I would be a little weird if you are taught by a headless creature. Okay, so first slide is on some vocabulary, as well as the next slide is also going to be on vocabulary. Radius, it's the distance from the perimeter, the outside of the circle, the circumference of the circle to the center of the circle. There's the radius right there. The diameter, and that's used, and R is used to express that, the radius in equations. The diameter expressed as D in equations, the distance across the circle that crosses through the center point of the circle. Okay, so this is D here. It's important to note that the radius is 1/2 of the diameter. That's important for future problems. So go ahead and copy these notes down. Next slide is on circumference and area. Circumference is the distance around the outside of the circle. It is the perimeter of the circle. The area, the total space the shape covers. It's important to note that units are always expressed in units squared. So let's say we found that the area was 10, and it was in centimeters, it would be 10 centimeters squared. 10 centimeters squared. Here, if we found this, oh my god, that's a terrible circle. If, kind of like my cows. If we found the circumference of the circle was 5, not squared, just 5 centimeters. Okay, go ahead and copy these down as well. Important formulas to note, circumference formulas. There's two. We have circumference is equal to 2 times pi times the radius. Formulas is the topic. Or circumference is equal to pi times diameter. For area formula, the area is equal to pi times the radius squared. Pi r squared. Okay, so first we're going to solve for some areas of problems. We're going to use this formula here. A is equal to pi r squared. The area is equal to pi times the radius squared. And let's do this first problem here. Now it's given that the radius is 2 centimeters. So let's use this formula here. Area is equal to pi times radius squared. And we're given the radius, so let's just go ahead and plug it in. Area is equal to pi times the radius, we're given the radius, so let's go ahead and plug it in, 2 squared. Okay. Make sure that you do this squaring before you multiply. PEMDAS, quick review, parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, and then addition and subtraction. So we're going to do the exponents first, and then we'll do the multiplication. That's right here. So 2 squared, which is the same thing as 2 times 2. That's going to be 4 and pi. So it's pi times 4. I'm going to just rewrite this as 4 pi. This is what you will see in Algebra 1, Algebra 2, Pre-Calculus, and beyond. The answer is given in terms of pi. How many pies? 4 pies. Marionberry, cherry, banana pie? I don't think that exists. Okay, but 4 pi. So I'm going to have over here answers. This is one answer that I want you to give me. I want you to give me 2. So this is the first one, 4 pi, and the units, make sure you include the units, centimeters. Or, I also want you to multiply that. 7th grade on the STAR test and beyond, well, I guess just in 7th grade, you don't get a calculator, so I need you guys making sure that you practice your multiplication. Get ready for 8th grade where you are given a calculator. So we have 3.14 times 4. Now notice how I'm aligning the decimal nice and neatly. And I'm going to rewrite this. I'm going to rewrite it neater because I have to keep track of a lot of things. I've got to keep track of the places, the decimal point, and so forth. Now the way that I do this multiplication, the decimal points are here, but I know there's 1, 2, 3, 4 places. 4 decimal points. I'm going to treat this like 314 times 400 and then move the decimal point 4 places over. Now I do multiplication a little bit differently than you guys were taught, and my way is a little bit worse, but it's just what I'm used to. So this is how I do it. I do the 4, there's 2 placeholders here, the 2 zeros, and then 4 times 4 is 16. Now there's 1, 2, 3 placeholders. 4 times 1 is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 placeholders. And 4 times 3 is 12. So I'm going to add all these up. 0, 0, 6, 5, 2, and 1. I know that there's 4 decimal points that I need to add. So I'm going to move, start from right to left. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 12.56. Now, there is a way to check to make sure that we're doing it right. And because I know that, you know, in particular, a shout out to a student, Mario continually asks me, "Sir, how can we check this? How can we check to make sure that it's right?" And the way that you can check is to round pi to what you guys used last year, 3. Let's just multiply 3 times 4 to make sure that our answer is close. 3 times 4 is 12, and 12 is very close to 12.56, so I know that my answer is reasonable. Now, and this is a little bit bigger than this, so that makes sense because this is a little bit bigger than this. Now, if I had come up with something like this, like 1.256, well, that's much too small. That doesn't quite make sense. Or 125.6, well, that's just way too big. That's more than 10 times the size of 12. So 12.56 seems the most reasonable. So for the 2 answers, it's 4 pi or 12.56. And actually change this or to and, because I want both. On the mock exit ticket, I want both. Why? Because you're going to see this in future math classes. Also, Khan Academy, you can get the answer as this. The answer in Khan Academy you would write as 4 space pi, like that. 4 pi. Okay. And I just need to make sure to include my units there. Alright. Now we have the next problem, which is, here now I'm given the diameter is 8 centimeters. But in an area formula, I need the radius. I'm just going to write the formula again. Pi r squared. So I'm given the diameter is 8. I need to find the radius, and I know that the radius is 1/2 of it. So 8 times 1/2, or 8 divided by 2, is going to be 4. So I know that the radius is going to be 4. So we use 4 as the radius, so we have area is equal to pi times 4 squared. Make sure that you do the exponent first and then the multiplication. So we have area is equal to pi times 16, and I'm just going to rewrite this as this. 16 pi. You can flip these around. So my answers, I'm going to write them over here. 16 pi, and then the units centimeters is one of my answers. But I also need to multiply, headless teacher, I also need to multiply 16 times 3.14. So let's go ahead and do that. 16 times 3.14. Now remember, add these here, make sure the decimal point's nice and aligned. I'm going to treat this like 1600 times 314. I know there's 1, 2, 3, 4 decimal points. Let me make a little note here. 4 decimal points. I'm going to add them on at the end. Okay, so we have, once again, my multiplication is not the best way, it's just what I'm used to. But I do want to model multiplication. So we have 4, I got 2 placeholders. And 4 times 6 is 24. I have 3 placeholders. 4 times 1 is 4. I've got 3 placeholders. 1 times 6 is 6. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 placeholders. 1 times 1 is 1. Yeah, that's right. Now I've got 4 placeholders. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 times 6 is 18. And 5 place, which 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3 times 1 is 3. Okay, so we're going to add all these up together. We've got 0, 0, 4, 12, 2 plus, yep, and carry the 1, and this is 1, 2, 10, this, carry the 1, and 5. Okay, my answer, and remember there's 4 decimal points, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and 4. 50.24. Now let's check to make sure that this is correct. By the way, this is my second time filming this because the first time I screwed up this multiplication and I couldn't figure it out. So I was looking at the problem for 30 seconds and I wasted a whole bunch of time. So this is my second time doing this video. Let's round 3.14. It's supposed to be like arrow, terrible arrow, sorry, to 3, and let's just multiply by the 16. 3 times 6 is 18. 3 times 10 is 30. Add these together, and we have 48. That's what 16 times 3 is. And 48 is very close to 50, 50.24. So I know that my answer has got to be reasonable. If I had 5.24, well, that's way too small. And 502.4, that's way too big. So it's kind of like Goldilocks and the 3 multiplying bears. Goldilocks and the 3 multiplying bears. Okay, we have 50.24. That seems reasonable. That's my answer. That's what I'm going to put over here. 50.24. Don't forget my units, centimeters, and it's not or, it's and. Make sure you give me both. I want you to show me the multiplication, and also that you know that you can give your answer in terms of pi. Alright, thank you very much, and go ahead and do some practice problems.